they're like, oh, don't you need your gloves? He's like, I don't need my gloves, or I don't know, something like that. And throws the thing at Dr. Insano, again, at Mach speed, hits him in the back of the head. He would be fucking dead.
Very fucking
But he's like, oh, like, it had everything but, like, birds flying over, like, around his head. Jesus fucking Christ.
At that point, it would have surprised me to see little 3D bird.
The 3D in this thing.
Or, I don't know, maybe a little cuckoo bird coming out of his fucking mouth. That would have been also appropriate.
The 3D sucked.
The 3D was...
There were several times I took off my glasses, and it looked fine. The 3D really sucks. 3D sucks. Smell-o-vision sucks. 4D fucking sucks.
4D blows.
Yeah. And Ricky Gervais just does not give a shit in this fucking thing.
Oh.
He's going, oh, that was bloody brilliant. Switch me on to action mode, or danger mode, or whatever it is. Which basically just turns him into, like, when Yoda fights and, like, the Star Wars prequels. I don't know. The one pun that I was like, that I would have laughed at, that I leaned over to you and said, because I knew they weren't going to say it. Joel McHale is the host of a reality show in this, which is like a show where he goes around hunting spies, and the name of the show is Spy Hunter. And so at the end, when he figures out that Jessica Alba's a spy, because they're both married in it, he grabs a hold of her to kiss her, and she says something like, what are you going to do to me, Spy Hunter, or something like that.
Yeah.
I leaned over, because I knew they weren't going to say it. It would have been like the one funny pun, and then I leaned over to you and said, I'm afraid you're going to have to do hard time, or something like that.
That would have been great.
It would have taken it up to probably like a PG-13, but, oh, well, maybe not, because they had that one stupid thing that Jessica Alba said, like, holy shiitake mushrooms.
Oh, it wasn't Jessica Alba, that was the original girl,
okay.
No Act.
Yeah.
No Act is standing there, and, like, the fucking scene before this is the new little girl has, like, this electric whip, and is whipping the shit out of the bad guys, and she, accidentally wraps the legs around No Act.
Yeah.
And so No Act is like, do it again.
Yeah.
So she flings them around like that, and she's like this, and punch. And then, throws her back into it, so she's kind of fighting, and then, like, you see her beat the last guy, and then there's that typical action-y movie scene. It's like, oh, okay, it's over. Oh, no, it's not. And so more of these no-name clock.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Obscura Sleepo Presents. It's time for another Cynthia Rothrock movie. Cynthia is featured as the star on the cover, but this movie is actually more of a Richard Norton vehicle. Rothrock and Norton together again, it must be Tuesday! I've talked about a few movies with Richard Norton in them before, but in those films he was usually playing second fiddle to someone else. Well, now it's time for him to shine in all his Australian glory. Show us what you got, Norton. Rage and Honor is about Australian cop Preston Michaels, who witnesses a drug deal involving dirty cops and ends up on the wrong side of the law. In order to take down the officers and clear his name, he teams up with Chris Fairchild, an inner-city high school teacher who moonlights in karate. Yes, folks, Cynthia Rothrock plays a teacher in this. We begin with over 2 minutes of black and white handheld footage of Cynthia Rothrock. This is the classiest episode of Cops ever. The music tries to make you think it's all sinister, but it's not really. More with her in a second. It's time for our intro to Preston Michaels. While he's in America, he's working part-time as a bodyguard when a couple of underage girls ask him to get them backstage.
I could get you arrested. I'm also a cop.
You're a dirtbag. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have told him I was a cop. That was kind of ineffective. Back with Chris, we find out that she's being filmed by one of her students who wants to get a good story for a contest on TV. He's the hippest happening hot cat, yo. That's what they say nowadays, right? Anyway, let's see Preston put his bodyguard skills to work.
Appreciate it if everyone would take one full step sideways.
Impressive. I can see why they hired him. Wait, why is Cynthia Rothrock in the group? Oh wait, I guess she's back at the ATM now. She's about to leave when some thugs arrive to rob her. You know what that means? At the same time, Preston moves in to save another woman from being mugged.
Give the lady a purse back, I'll let you walk to jail.
Wait, he just did give it back to her. Did not deliver on your promise, Preston.
Painful.
Oh man, that's your one-liner? At least dub it in sync. Chris is left with only one thug to take out, this Cylon-looking dude. And man, he really wants that money. Come on, is it really worth it? There's maybe like $100 there, tops. Preston doesn't have as much luck, because he's arrested and told he has to observe the American style of law enforcement as punishment. Wait, so those other guys are going free? I realized he wasn't supposed to beat them up, but mugging is still a crime, people. Back on Awesome Cam, we witnessed the epic meeting of two titans. Way to class it up, Preston. He gets invited to Chris's karate class and talks to the student for a bit.
She's gonna be famous, I'm gonna be rich.
Rich. What, is that all you want?
I'll plug it late sometime.
Well, why don't you go around telling all the strangers then? Moving on to our villain, Conrad Drago, played by, oh, for real, Brian Thompson, no! Okay. I know I've made fun of mullets before, but this one is like the king of mullets. So, Drago runs a cocaine ring, and man oh man does he hate flyers. Preston visits Chris's class, and we get an awkwardly placed backstory from the police captain.
Yeah, well, the way I hear it, her whole life is about funny choices. She was just a little kid when her parents were killed. She and her older brother were taken in and taught by the sensei who ran this place.
Why is the captain even there? And why is she telling Preston Chris's backstory? And how is their parents being killed at a young age a funny choice? Anyway, the rest of the story goes that their sensei was killed, and Drago is the culprit.
Don't let her kill you, fool you. An individual carries around one major chunk of ink around that black belt.
That's big, Chief. I never figured you for a shrink.
I like that even he's making fun of her monologuing at this point. He notices a couple of the cops from the precinct acting suspicious, so he follows them to an alley and witnesses them dealing cocaine. He really didn't notice him there?
Maybe not mind if it's dropping me.
Preston decides to take matters into his own hands, yeah, because that worked out the last time, and ends up at gunpoint.
Big fucking mistake, man.
Yeah, like I'm real sorry.
Ooh, sweet comeback. The one in the pumpkin suit is Rita, who doesn't take kindly to the officer's backtalk. Delayed reaction much? It looks like Preston is in trouble, but luckily for him, camera guy is much dumber than he is. His skateboard rolls down the roof and knocks off a soda can, causing the criminals to go after him and giving Preston time to make his escape. Ooh, faced! Well, at least he still has his bottle in hand. The kid manages to leave his tape with someone else before one of the thugs catches up to him.
You want to try that on me, mate?
Snap, don't make him go Australian on your ass. At the hospital, Preston calls the captain about what's happened, not realizing that he's been framed for the murder. Like anyone accused of murder, they of course immediately try to shoot him. The thing was detachable the whole time? Holy crap! Oh, come on, you kicked him into the wheelchair, guy?
No wonder most people die in hospitals.
Take that wheelchair.
Hello? Wheelchair patient on the floor? Not knowing who else to turn to, Preston breaks into Chris's apartment. Never mind how he knows where she lives. Chris hears someone come in and emerges from the shower in full makeup, like most of us do.
Phew. Could have killed you.
Who are you dressed for?
Oh well, it's okay since she met him that one time and he went to her class. Nothing wrong with breaking and entering. He explains the situation as he fixes up his injury.
These cops are bad news. They'll say whatever they want to.
You're a cop.
Yeah, they don't trust me.
Maybe I don't either.
What? After I broke into your apartment with a gunshot wound? Unbelievable! After magically finding another shirt there, Preston decides to team up with Chris to try and find the tape. Drago has his own plan to get his hands on it, calling in a favor from Hannah the Hun and assassin prostitute? I don't know. She hangs out with a bunch of scantily clad women in an arcade. It's like they live in the Love is a Battlefield music video. Meanwhile, one of the thugs is looking for the rest of the Foot Clan when Preston happens by. The two of them fight for a bit and attempt to give each other a bro hug. Tetsu spaces for a moment before realizing he's still in a fight scene and throws Preston out the window. When some other police officers arrive, he helps Preston